The released female prisoner who emerged through the steel doors into the penitentiary waiting room was of medium height, a rather plain and shapeless woman, apparently well into her 40s. I found that quite shocking, as she'd been neither plain nor shapeless nor middle-aged when I'd last seen her, and it hadn't been all that many years ago. Not that she'd been abused in any obvious way in this grim, secret, maximum security institution. The prison pallor was there, of course, replacing the smooth outdoors girl tan I recalled, and her posture had become very bad. I remembered her as a straight, slim, proud young woman, but now she looked slack and dumpy and defeated, even on this day of her release. However, she seemed to be healthy enough. There were no visible scars or blemishes, aside from the left arm that hung a little awkwardly, the wrist bent inward in a slightly unnatural fashion, a handicap she hadn't had at our previous meeting 12 years earlier. But I'd gotten a full report of her prison history, and I knew the answer to that. It couldn't really be blamed, at least not directly, on the prison authorities. She had a painfully well-scrubbed look, and wore no makeup at all. Her hair, still thick and brown, I noted, was arbitrarily chopped off well clear of her shoulders. It had been shampooed into a state of lifeless dryness. Her clothes were so new I couldn't help looking to see if she'd got all the price tags off. An inexpensive brown flannel suit worn with an inexpensive pink sweater. There were rather heavy, dull, business-like nylons and sensible brown shoes with very moderate heels, also brand new. She carried a brown cloth coat, a brown purse that was supposed to look like leather, and a small cheap suitcase. She stopped dead just inside the room, seeing me. I saw her make her face totally without expression, the way they all learn inside, even the ones like this one who'd been brought up in secure and comfortable circumstances, loving and loved, expressing their emotions freely, never dreaming as they grew up in happy luxury that the poker-faced attitudes of the penitentiary could ever concern them. She watched me approach and licked her pale lips before speaking. "They told me somebody was waiting for me," she said. "I couldn't imagine, but I think I remember you." "I hoped you would," I said. "It would save me from having to identify myself all over again." "Helm," she said. "Matthew Helm. You work for the federal government in some mysterious capacity you never really explained. You asked me out." She stopped, obviously remembering a shining, lost world in which she'd once lived. "You came to the office when I was with Barron and Walsh. You took me out to dinner that night. A very good dinner at, She frowned, then stopped frowning. "At the Cortez restaurant. You let me pick the wine." When I nodded, she asked, "Why are you here?" "We'd like your help on a matter that concerns us, Mrs. Ellershaw. In return, we may be in a position to do something for you." Her eyes narrowed. "Something?" I grinned, I hoped disarmingly. "Well, for a start, I have a car outside. I'll drive you wherever you want to go, save you from having to take the prison bus to town and find transportation from there. But let's talk as we ride, if you don't mind." She hesitated. Then she said bleakly, "I stopped minding anything 8 years ago when they put me in here." "You'd better put your coat on," I said. "It's a bit wintry outside." She looked rather startled when I took the garment from her and held it for her, and picked up the suitcase she'd put down. That was a painful thing, as painful as seeing the brutal physical changes prison had wrought in her. The lovely and self-confident girl I'd known very briefly all those years ago had taken for granted that doors would be opened for her, and cigarettes lighted for her, and bags carried for her, and coats held. I'd met her at the trial of a second-rate professional killer named Willie Chavez. I'd attended hoping for a line on a first-rate professional killer with whom he'd been associated, in whom we were interested at the time. Although very young, not long out of law school, her bar examination just behind her, she'd been assisting with the defense, and I'd realized that she was the one to approach for help, not the rather remote and formidable senior partner with whom she was working, Mr. Waldemar Barron.